Hey, folks, we are live. Illini Guys, halftime live. Mike Kegley, Kedrick Prince here. We are talking. The Illini came out and really played quite good ball after a little bit of a slow start, 46-35. Ked, this Minnesota team has played pretty well at home. They're on a kind of a heater for the Golden Gophers. This was an impressive first half, didn't you think?
It's an impressive first half for Minnesota, but I cover the University of Illinois, and I'm just going to be honest. Me personally, they are playing inspired basketball. They're playing hard. They're executing. This is the best I've seen their offense look in a long time, and it's not just about making shots. They look really, really sharp on offense, like I said to you. Defensively, Minnesota has some challenges, sure, of course, but I really like what Illinois is doing. And, I haven't done this in a long time, Mike, and I don't want to steal your thunder, but to me, and I know people are not going to be surprised, I'm a little bit upset with the officiating. It's not costing Illinois a game, but I want to bring out one example.
So what are you upset about, Ked, so people understand?
Here's what I'm upset about. Morez Johnson can't play the game. I understand, and the NBA, which I'm not a fan of, they have gotten rid of some of this theatrical stuff. Morez Johnson, twice, he has 2 fouls. He goes straight up in the air. The defender, and you have to, I guess the way the rule is protect the offensive player, forget the defensive player. Morez goes straight up, and the offensive player, if you lean into him, it doesn't matter what Morez does, or anybody. It could be Visage. It could be Fears from Michigan State. It could be Luke Goody from Indiana. You're going to get a foul. How do you play defense? So if it's me right now, and I saw Underwood's face, and we saw his theatrics on the sideline when he got upset. If I'm coaching Morez, you know what I'm going to say? I'm gonna foul him. They're going to call a foul on you anyway, kid. And so if you're going to foul him, damn well make sure they don't get a 3-point shot up, Mike. What is the point? He got 2 of the softest fouls I've ever seen, and it's frustrating to him. Then on the other end, like I mentioned with Kasparis, he tries to go to the basket, and the defender is shoving him. How is that any different than the guy goes up to the basket, and then Darson Garcia has a horrible shot. He's behind the basket, and he does the famous "oh" and yell, and the official bails him out.
Maybe Morez needs to get that color thing in his hair going.
He needs to start fouling people and earning his foul. I'm sorry, I would not. It's hard for him, and I tell you what, Illinois is playing well, Mike. But if there was one criticism I have right now, is the fact that I don't like how Illinois continues to just play the percentages. I think sometimes you have to play the game, and here's what I'm talking about. Femi Okadule is a career 25% 3-point shooter. So Illinois decided to not guard him, and I understand that. But Mike, today he's 3 for 4. He's made 8 threes all season. But because they want to play the percentages, I don't care who it is. These are Division I basketball players. I would not give him a chance to go out there to knock down shots because he's 3 or 4 today. And actually second on the team in scoring behind Patterson. So I get why you want to play the percentages. I understand why teams do. But guess what? You let a guy get going and they start making shots. And this is what happened when you go back to the USC game. They did the same thing. They doinked the shooters because they weren't great 3-point shooters. I forget who the big fellow was. And then he ended up having a career day. I just wouldn't do that anymore. They're not in position to do that.
Sturdy, what were your thoughts on the first half?
I thought they played really well. I thought they attacked the basket, didn't settle for threes. They took maybe two or 3 bad shots. I thought Boswell took a rush 2. I thought Will Riley took a bad 3, off the dribble. But other than that, really, they took good shots, and that's why they scored so well. I didn't, Minnesota got hot early. They hit those first 3 from 3. They had 9 points in a minute and a half or whatever. And then, after that, they defended really well. I thought they contested everything at the rim. They did a good job on Garcia. And really, Garcia's the guy on that team. I mean, you have to slow him down, and they're really playing to make it hard on him. And, overall, great half. Ivisic looked really good compared to what, we had seen or heard. And so I thought he was good. I thought they did a nice job of using their guys. I thought they got a good lift from Jake Davis off the bench. did some nice things. I thought Hummerkaus did a good job. I thought, KJ's starting to get better, starting to click a little bit, starting to get more comfortable. He didn't have any turnovers, I don't believe. I think that's
There's
huge.
only
I
one
think
turnover in the first half. That was Ivicic. So,
yeah.
I mean, that
was early. That was first play.
Half.
I think that was the first play or second play. First or second play, yeah.
We're getting multiple questions, and I'll let you guys handle this, but what's up with Trey White?
I'll tell you what I heard. The injury reports and illnesses and things that I've heard today, they were only from Ivicic and from Boswell. At the end of the podcast or at the end of the game, I'll try to do some research and ask and find out, but I didn't hear anything from my sources. I thought Trey was going to play today. So it was surprising to me that he didn't. And all of us have access to the injury report, and I didn't see anything. So maybe there's something else. And I'll look while I'm on this podcast right now. I think Brad Sturdy, I think you tweeted it out, the injury report, and I don't remember seeing his name on it. Was it?
It was not, and I know, like, even against, and you just never know. They're not going to tell you if it's something disciplinary, unless, specifically asked, and then they probably still won't tell you. And they don't want that out there. But the weird part about it is I don't know if he's, because we were told different things last week, and, whether it was, ankle, whatever it was, whether it was flu. So I don't know. It's hard to gauge. I know he. There have been times when he's, he probably wants to, he's had some really good moments, and then he's been struggling. He's struggling a little bit. Maybe, he just needs some time to kind of get himself back together. I don't know. But we'll find out for sure after the game. But yeah, I wonder, I think that I thought it was odd the way they went big to start, but I think that was by design. They like to start Tommy, and they like to bring Will Riley off the bench. I think that really fits. And Draven is not, he's battling through, tough kid, because him going out there at all really helps them, give them some depth in the backcourt. And the fact that he can just give them a few minutes has been huge, because they don't have a lot of depth right now because of all the injuries and illnesses and things like that. So Draven, sucking it up and going out there and playing, because he doesn't look good to me. I mean, like, healthy. He looks like he feels like crap, but that shows the toughness that kid has.
Yeah, I was happy to see him make the attempt to do that. The interesting thing that I've seen is KJ still seems to get a lot of contact when he shoots, that he doesn't get as much called as the contact you would see. And he seems to be at least hitting the inside shots. Still hasn't found a range on his three-pointer yet, but I was encouraged that he only took one as opposed to going 0 for 4 or something like that. I think Illinois they just played smarter basketball. And Brad, in the first half, they were at 1.586 points per possession. If they play offense like this, you would think that the players would say this is a lot more fun.
Yeah, scoring is good. I think last time I checked, I think you want to outscore the other team usually, and they're just, they're on pace to put up 92 points, which is, and they've done a pretty good job of scoring all year. They've just kind of gotten a funk, but they've got Minnesota playing faster than they want to play right now. And they just have to keep that going. Keep attacking the rim, keep attacking the offensive glass, and keep defending, making it tough on Minnesota to get anything. You get their guys' shots. Dawson Garcia is still a really, really talented scorer, and they're going to have a hard time guarding him in certain matchups, and that's why you see them. That's why they're helping, and that's why they're playing the defense they are. And so they have to make sure he doesn't get going, because he's a guy who can, get him back into it. And they want to make sure, instead of letting them get this into single digits right away, they extend it out and they can get up 15, get up 20, whatever it is.
One quick question for you, Brad. What do you tell Morez to help him out with the fouls? Because, Ked was talking about it. I don't think the refs made what I call egregious calls. They made the calls that they tend to make, but, Morez is trying not to foul, almost to the point where
he's not playing defense. He's not.
Yeah. So any thoughts, Sturdy? How do you coach a guy through a rough patch like that?
Well, I think the hardest thing to do is just tell him to go play, because what he's doing, he's getting a lot of these fouls because he looks like he's trying not to foul. And so when you're trying not to foul, a lot of times you're just not in great position, and you tend to be in an odd spot. And the next thing you know, you get bumped into and they call a foul on you. And I think in his quest to like move away and back away from guys and things like that, just be him. He doesn't get as many fouls if he just is aggressive. I think he'll be better if he just plays hard and just keeps going at the rim, keep blocking shots, doing those things. You're going to get some fouls, but I think a lot of his fouls now, it's reputation and also the fact that he is trying not to foul. And that's really gets you in trouble. Just play, and that's a hard thing to tell a freshman in college. Just play when they're call you for everything. So it's hard, but that's kind of what he's got to battle through. And, I thought those were very questionable calls, but at the same time, that's a lot of fouls that happen or questionable, and then they miss some egregious ones. It's just, I guess, part of basketball in college. It's not really well officiated.
No, it's not. And Brad, before you got on the air, this is what I said. I think those fouls were horrible because he went straight up, and the offensive player, which is the league, that's what they want to do, protect the offensive player. Moraes goes straight up, and the guy runs into him, and he gets an N1. If it's me, and we talked about Underwood being upset, I'm just going to foul. I'm not going to let him. You can't go out and you can't lay a guy out anymore like the Pistons did in the 90s. But I'm just not going to let him get it up because they're going to call a foul regardless. I want to make a comment about KJ really quick. I don't know if people have noticed he has his arm sleeve off today. That's not on. And this is a negative but a positive criticism for him. The knock on European players is that they're not as physical. I want to see him get some nastiness to him and go out and just play the game. Him flopping and trying to draw fouls like a bass or a catfish flopping on the ground inside of water. They're not calling it. They're just not. And so, Brad, you mentioned the reputation with Moraes. I think that's kind of the same thing with KJ. When he goes to the basket, go up and try to dunk the ball even if you aren't going to. Make them call a foul because just going up weak and not strong is not benefiting him because they're not giving him the benefit of the doubts with the call. Be tougher. Show that you can play American basketball, because if you can't handle the physicality of the Big Ten, how are you going to do it in the NBA?
Well, the other thing is if working flopping like a bass or a catfish isn't working, maybe he could try a trout or some other fish. I don't know, but I think I also thought that, and it was talked about on the broadcast. It took about 3 times though for them to notice it. But I thought the way Illinois was cutting to the basket was opening up a lot of things for them, because they actually cut to the basket looking like they were going to get a pass, as opposed to I'm just going to run through the lane because I'm supposed to run from point A to point B and the lane happens to be there. And to me, when you run an offense with intent like that and guys are looking to get you the ball, the defense can't rest during parts of it. And I thought that Illinois looked a lot better offensively for little things like that.
No question. I think the cutting's huge. Ivasic's such a good passer. They're going to they doubled him a couple times. And so he's a good passer. He can pass out of that. Also, I feel like they're going to double, I think they might double Humrickhouse on a booty ball. They're going to double KJ on the booty ball a little bit, or on that ball screen. They're helping. So that those cuts are there. It's almost like Ivasic was open on that when he got double teamed. He was looking there. He was just waiting for someone to cut. It was like, hey, somebody cut, guys, cut here. And they finally did, and they're wide open. So that's the kind of movement you want to see off the ball, and it opens everything else. Because even if they take that, then if they pinch and take that cut away, now you've got a guy, you're going inside out, and you got a wide open 3 on the other side, which is a good 3, not an off the dribble step back, spin 3 that they like to shoot.
Yep. Ked?
Well, start second half. I want to see them come out the way they did the first half. What I don't want to see them do is doink people. I don't want to see our guy who's only made 3.8 field goals all year. It's like the Femi I guy, get going. He is 3 for 4 from 3. Let's get out and guard him. And people were kind of questioning, why are they not guarding him? That was a game plan. Like I said, he's a career this year, 25% three-point shooter. I get it. But I don't want to give this guy any reasons to get any confidence. I'll close with this. We're looking at the availability report, injury report. There's nothing on here that I see about Trey White, but I'm sure he'll be asked after the game, and so we'll find out. And if we find out, we'll definitely let you know.
Yeah, and I know we've read, we've heard that he was battling a sprained ankle. Now I don't know with a high ankle sprain how long those things last especially for a young college kid. But folks, we will be on, of course, right after the game. So when the game's over, we'll be on within 2 minutes. We'll be ready to go talk about what's going on. We're really hoping to see the Illini put together 2 halves in a row because they have one hell of a game coming up next, and we want to make obviously Illini fans want to make sure that they are ready for that game. That's a showdown game on Tuesday night, 7:30 on Peacock, so get your streaming lined up now. But they will be playing UCLA, and UCLA is playing good ball, so it'd be nice for Illinois to be playing well and then go defend their home court, which has been a challenge this year. So again, folks, we will be on right after the game. It's just about ready to tip off now. So until then, go Illini.